Hey there, Steelers Nation. Before we get into today's discussion, let's take a moment to talk about this team's resilience. No matter the ups and downs, the Pittsburgh Steelers are always striving to improve and bring the results that fans like you deserve. That's why we love this franchise. It's built on grit, determination, and the pursuit of greatness. If you're as passionate about the Steelers as we are, do us a favor. Smash that like button to show your support. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the latest news, insights, and debates about your favorite team. Now, let's dive into what's going on in the Steel City because, folks, it's getting heated both on and off the field. Let's start with the elephant in the room, the Steelers' three-game losing streak. After climbing to a 10-3 record and sitting comfortably atop the AFC North, the Steelers have stumbled, dropping critical games and falling to second place in the division. The frustrations aren't just showing on the field. They've seeped into the locker room, and it's not looking good. Veteran players like DeShaun Elliott and Patrick Queen, two of the Steelers' marquee free agent signings this past offseason, have voiced their frustrations publicly. Elliott blasted the defense after the Christmas Day loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, criticizing how wide-open opposing receivers were all game. Queen, meanwhile, lamented the lack of accountability, saying, "No one is doing anything about it." These comments are rare for a Steelers team known for its tight-knit locker room culture. So, what's changed? According to former Steelers safety and Super Bowl champion Ryan Clark, the team's reliance on free agent signings this year might be to blame. Clark, speaking on ESPN's First Take, broke down why Pittsburgh's locker room issues are so concerning. When you have these teams and start to put different pieces on them, right? When you go and get a DeShaun Elliott, who's a free agent, you bring in Dante Jackson, who's a free agent, and you're starting to put these pieces together to try to build a team. That's different for Pittsburgh, Clark explained. Clark pointed out that the Steelers historically build their rosters through the NFL draft, developing homegrown talent who understand and embody the Steelers way. He compared this year's approach to the rare but impactful signing of James Ferrier in the early 2000s, noting that Ferrier quickly became a cornerstone of the team. "This team is different now," Clark continued. "There aren't a lot of these homegrown and home-raised Steelers that were drafted here that understand the culture, that know it's supposed to be done one way. Because what used to happen when we were having these sorts of things is everybody pointed at themselves." Clark's comments highlight a cultural shift in the Steelers' approach to roster building. While general manager Omar Khan made bold moves to bring in high-profile talent, the gamble seems to have disrupted the team's chemistry. Clark didn't hold back when discussing the recent finger-pointing within the Steelers' defense. "When you ask DeShaun Elliott a question and say, 'Hey man, what could be better?' you know what you're supposed to say? 'I gotta be better,'" Clark emphasized. Now, when we get into the room and we lock those doors, we can throw hands if we got to. But you don't let folks into your house like that when you're losing. This lack of accountability and public airing of grievances is a stark contrast to the Steelers' storied history of keeping internal issues. Well, internal. It's a reminder of how quickly things can spiral when the focus shifts from team unity to individual frustrations. The struggles of the Steelers' defense aren't limited to chemistry issues. The on-field performance has been just as concerning. Over the past 3 games, the Steelers have been outscored 90-40, with the pass defense being a glaring weak spot. Against the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes picked apart the Steelers' secondary, throwing for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns without turning the ball over. Injuries to Joey Porter Jr. and Dante Jackson have forced backups like Cam Sutton and James Pierre into larger roles, but their performances have been underwhelming at best. Former NFL head coach Rex Ryan even called out Sutton and Pierre for their poor play, adding fuel to the fire. With Joe Burrow and the Bengals up next, the Steelers' secondary faces another tough test. If they don't clean up their coverage, the playoff-bound Bengals could make quick work of Pittsburgh's defense. Despite their recent struggles, the Steelers have already secured a playoff spot. But let's be honest, Steelers Nation, just making the postseason isn't enough. This is a franchise built on winning championships, not settling for early exits. The upcoming game against the Bengals is a chance to right the ship before the playoffs begin. A strong performance could restore some confidence and momentum heading into the wild card round. But if the defense continues to falter and the locker room remains divided, it's hard to see this team making a deep playoff run. As it stands, both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are not under contract for the 2025 season, leaving Pittsburgh with some major decisions to make. This situation puts the Steelers in a precarious but fascinating position. With a 10-6 record and a playoff berth already secured this year, the Steelers have proven they are a team ready to win now. But how do they navigate the tricky waters of quarterback contracts moving forward? According to insider Jason LaCanfora, there's a real possibility the Steelers could bring both quarterbacks back next season. Speaking on the Tony Kornheiser show, LaCanfora laid out the dilemma. The question is, who are you getting and where is he coming from? They're not going to draft one that's ready to play. They'd have to mortgage multiple drafts to move up to get anywhere close to that. Could they bring Fields and Russell Wilson back? I don't think it's out of the question. It's a plan that has been floated throughout the course of the season, but putting it into motion is easier said than done. One of the key reasons the Steelers were able to pull off this quarterback tandem in 2024 was savvy front office management. Wilson and Fields accounted for a combined cap hit of just $4.5 million this year. Let that sink in. 2 starting caliber quarterbacks for under $5 million. It's an absurd value that speaks to the Steelers' ability to work the numbers. However, as the NFL salary cap continues to rise and the demand for quarterbacks remains high, keeping both players could become an uphill battle. Bringing both Wilson and Fields back would likely require cutting corners in other areas, something that could impact the overall roster depth. Would you be willing to see sacrifices in other parts of the roster to keep this quarterback duo together? Let us know in the comments. The luxury of having 2 capable quarterbacks who can lead the team to victory is rare in today's NFL. Both Wilson and Fields have shown they can deliver in high-pressure situations, and their contrasting styles give Pittsburgh incredible flexibility on offense. Fields brings a dynamic, dual-threat capability that keeps defenses guessing. Wilson, on the other hand, offers veteran leadership and a proven track record in clutch moments. Together, they've helped the Steelers secure key wins and maintain a level of unpredictability that's difficult for opponents to prepare for. But can Pittsburgh realistically keep both without blowing up their cap strategy? Or should they pick one quarterback to lead the team into 2025? The alternatives. If the Steelers decide not to bring back both quarterbacks, they have a few options. Draft a QB. As LaCanfora pointed out, drafting a ready-to-play quarterback would require the Steelers to mortgage future draft picks to trade up. Is that a gamble worth taking? Test free agency. The free agent quarterback market is often a mixed bag. There's no guarantee a better or more affordable option would be available, and signing a free agent could come with its own risks. Stick with one QB. If the Steelers choose to keep only one of their current quarterbacks, the big question becomes, who do they prioritize? Let's break this down. Russell Wilson. At 36 years old, Wilson brings veteran experience and poise. While he may not be the mobile playmaker he once was, his football IQ and leadership make him an asset. Wilson has shown he can still deliver under pressure, but how much longer can he sustain this level of play? Justin Fields. Fields is younger and has the kind of athleticism that's hard to find. His ability to extend plays with his legs and push the ball downfield adds a unique dimension to the Steelers' offense. However, his consistency and decision-making have come under scrutiny. Is he the long-term answer? Who would you pick, Steelers Nation, Wilson's experience, or Fields' potential? Drop your thoughts in the comments. One thing is clear. The Steelers have a roster that's ready to compete for a Super Bowl. Whether it's the elite play of T.J. Watt anchoring the defense or the emerging talent of George Pickens on offense, this team has the pieces to contend. The quarterback position is arguably the most important one in football. Getting this decision right could mean the difference between another playoff exit and a championship run. As Ryan Clark noted, the The Steelers' current struggles stem from a combination of roster construction, cultural shifts, and on-field execution. But all hope is not lost. The team has a chance to rally together, address their issues, and make something special out of this season. Steelers Nation, this is where you come in. We want to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with Ryan Clark's assessment that the Steelers' reliance on free agents has disrupted team chemistry? What do you think needs to happen for the defense to turn things around before the playoffs? Who should step up as a leader to bring this locker room together? Drop your answers in the comments below. Your voice matters, and we want to hear how you would fix these issues. Steelers Nation, these are tough times, but this is what being a fan is all about. Through the highs and lows, we stick together and keep believing in this team. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Steelers' recent struggles, show your support by smashing that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more exclusive content, updates, and debates about the black and gold. Let's turn this season around, one game at a time. As always, here we go, Steelers. Let's get it done.